Amen. Greetings, phenomenal ones. This is Dr. Jeremiah Hackley, and I am glad to be with you who are watching us from the Financial Phenom page, watching us from the National Clergy Appreciation Month, watching us from Jeremiah Hackley Speaks, and watching us possibly and potentially from some other pages. Before I go any further, I want you to know that if you heard the clarion call today for this conversation, you're in the right place at the right time. We are in a state of emergency, not just in the health crisis, not just in a political crisis, not just in a social justice or racial justice crisis or police brutality crisis. We are in a certain economic crisis. We are in a certain economic crisis as a nation. However, in the scripture, whenever the oppressed are in a nation where the oppressor is in economic crisis, what that means for the people that have been challenged previously is that there is some theme of deliverance or liberation or economic justice that is breaking forth. Let me read this to you. There is 130 billion unclaimed dollars, 130 billion with a B, unclaimed dollars sitting right now that will go away and it's waiting for you. And today we have a panel here, a great panel who I'm going to invite them on one by one to introduce themselves. But I want to start with my dear brother from the ITC, Interdenominational Theological Center here in Atlanta. Overseer Leroygo Shedrick is the president of the Richardson Ecumenical Fellowship of the ITC. Of course, I'm from the Morehouse School of Religion, but because we understand that we are one body, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, it is imperative that we don't see difference or distinction in this moment, that we see oneness and unity, and we see that we're going to come together. So I'm going to let Overseer Shedrick introduce himself, and then I'm going to ask our other liberators, our financial phenoms, our phenomenal ones. Look at them smiling. It's getting ready to get hot up in here. I feel something already. We already got started. But Overseer, can you introduce yourself and talk to the people? Tell us about this $130 billion with a B that needs to be claimed.
Hey, man, God bless each and every one of you for joining in. We thank you. Please share this with as many people as you can on whatever site you own. As my brother Jeremiah just said, I am Overseer Leroygo Shedrick, the founder of Greater Works Cathedral of Faith. We are currently in Lithia Springs, Georgia. I am also the president of the Richardson Ecumenical Fellowship at the ITC. And this is a major issue as we begin to talk about the black dollar. A lot of times you will hear people begin to speak about these numbers as far as us as consumers. And as I said on our last conversation, Brother Jeremiah, we have a very powerful impact, not just as consumers in the retail market, but on the other side of this avenue, as we are those who both empower through Black-owned businesses as well as employ. As I mentioned before, Black-owned businesses in the United States increased 34.5% through 2007 and 2012, totaling 2.6 million Black firms. More than 95% of these businesses are mostly sole proprietorship or partnerships. And what you have to understand is that is basically saying that we as black people are growing in the business market, not just as consumers, but influencers on the financial state of the economy and of our communities. So you no longer see us in a position to where we're waiting on somebody else to determine our fate. But we actually have that power now. And we're going to discuss a little bit about that in this discussion. And I won't share too much, but we'll get into it as we go forward.
Excellent. Next, we have with us the Lady Finance. If you see Lady Finance on the screen, you know right now you're getting ready to be blessed. And her name is Trellis Delando. If I got that right, I want you to introduce yourself to the people.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Hackley, for that introduction. It is Trellis Delandro Williams, and I am CEO and founder of Financial Experts of America. I am excited to join this panel. I am committed and passionate about helping families such as myself that looks like myself and my family to build financial stability and financial independence. You are absolutely correct. There's 130 billion unclaimed dollars that needs to be distributed amongst the African American community. The business owners, the percentage has increased drastically, and we need to tap into those fundings so that we can grow and survive over the next 18 to 36 months.
Wow. 130 billion with the B, and survive in the time of COVID. I'm looking forward to hear more from you. We also have with us the entrepreneur king of Atlanta, Majesty Gail. Will you talk to us, Doc? Can you hear us?
Yes,
okay.
Sir. I can hear you. I can hear you great. Glad to be on board. Thank you guys for inviting me to speak with your group. My name is Majesty Gail. I'm a developer that builds affordable housing. We're based out of Atlanta. I'm the founder and CEO of Evopia Incorporated. We're a 501c3. And we created this organization to facilitate the pooling of resources within the Black community and to protect our economic, health, and political interests. And with my background in real estate, I believe that it starts the foundation of economic and all types of empowerment begins with real estate. Property is where power comes from. You have to own a church in order to be able to have service there. You have to be able to own the land to be able to build a school to educate the children.
Wow.
Like that. So that's our goal, is to assist our community with becoming property owners and helping and sharing resources in order to do so. So once again, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be discussing this topic with like minds.
Let me start the conversation. Let's get to it. Brother, you said we need to own the church. There are many pastors that are watching us. There are many spiritual leaders of various reformations and various engagements that have been renting. And there is an opportunity and there's money available to shift the circumstance. And can I be honest? As a pastor, some pastors don't even look in the direction of this money. Can somebody tell me, is this money available for preachers too? I'm a little biased. Is it available to preachers too? Lady Finance, you want to take that one?
Absolutely. Churches, nonprofits can definitely take advantage of all three programs that are out there offered by the S.B.A. So yes, this money is definitely available for churches and other organizations.
Okay, so let's get to it. So pastors, we have the pastors, but beyond the pastors, the people, everybody that look like me with this melanin here. Everybody that look like me has an opportunity right now to get what deadlines are we getting ready to reach, and what is available? What is PPP? What is PPE? Let's start with what is PPP. Lady Finance, you want to start with that, and then we're going to go to Majesty.
Okay, so let's get excited, okay? Because although we have the pandemic going on, and my heart goes out to everyone out there that has been affected by this horrible pandemic, COVID-19. What we're seeing that's happening at this time for small business owners, we have the Paycheck Protection Program. Okay. This is where the government, this is PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. This is where you can receive 2.5 months of your income based on what you reported for 2019. Okay. It includes your payroll. If you're self-employed, if you're a sole proprietor, it is factored in based on the numbers reported on your tax return, and it can become, it's a forgivable loan. So it starts out at 2.5 months of your income that you can use for payroll. You can use to pay yourself as a sole proprietor. You can use for utilities, mortgage, rent, things like that. And it can become forgivable. Okay. It starts out as a 1% loan. It can become forgivable if you use the funds and follow the guideline. So if you, for self-employed people, you can qualify without any employees up to $20,833. That can become forgivable, which means that it's completely free, that you have money to invest into your business. Okay. And so for the PPP, I would suggest that if you have not taken a step and apply for it, that you do apply for it. Now, I know that there are many people out there that's like, well, if it's a loan, I don't want it. But anytime it's a 1% loan, anytime it can become forgivable. There's no bank. Guys, I've worked in the banks for many years. You can't walk into a bank and get a 1% loan, okay? Okay, so if you can get the money of they'll pay your employees for you. It's definitely a benefit, okay? And we can go into some of the other things later, but I suggest that everyone take advantage of the PPP. The deadline has been extended until August 8th, okay? If you are operating a small business and for whatever reason, you did not file it on your tax return, there's still hope for you. You need to do an amendment if you want to include it so that you can be qualified for some of the additional funding out there. Any other questions? I'll stop there because we can go on and on about this PPP, okay?
Okay, well, I'd like to chime in briefly, if you don't mind, just to kind of build on what you were saying. The 1% interest rate is definitely something that we wouldn't have been able to obtain before the pandemic very easily, unless you had the special relationships. And also to touch on the pandemic in general, because it is the elephant in the room. And of course, there's a lot of, I guess you could say, negativity and things like that come out of it, but there's also a lot of positivity as well. To be quite frank, the Black community has been dealing with things that are equivalent to this pandemic for centuries. So this isn't anything new to us as far as dealing with hardships and things like that. But what's different about this time is that it seems like a reset button has been hit. We've always complained about access to capital, and now it's literally being pushed out of the door as long as you meet minimum requirements. So, you know, it's a very unprecedented opportunity in my opinion. And, you know, the fact that they extended it means that they're dedicated to getting this money out. And if you have a business and you have a viable business model, then I would definitely urge you to take these funds. And people need to also understand the forgivable aspect. They hear loan and they get scared, but they need to understand that the loan essentially turns into quote unquote a grant or whatnot. So you won't have to pay it back if you use it correctly, use it based on the rules that have been passed down by the government or whatnot. And also a lot of people misunderstand that a sole proprietorship means that you do have an employee. You are that employee. I get asked that very often. What if I don't have employees? but you are the employee. So at worst, you know, you should definitely take the funding for yourself and work to grow your business. There's a lot of opportunity right now. And if you're able to see it clearly and, you know, the funding is there, then it's just a matter of taking action and following through on your business model and obviously innovating somewhat for the new climate that we're operating in. But at the end of the day, this is an amazing opportunity for the Black community to obtain funds that, you know, we've had issues obtaining in the past.
Awesome, Majesty. And can I just chime in, because I forgot to say that the PPP, guys, is not based on credit. This is not based on credit at all. I have clients that have received $60,000 in PPP, okay, that they would not have met the requirements had they had to go to the bank and get the funding. So guys, definitely take advantage of this. Please do not be afraid. Reach out if you're unsure of how this works. I will share a story with you guys. My father, I come from a third generation entrepreneurship family, and my father owns dump trucks. He is adamant about not getting a loan. I've helped hundreds of people get this funding, and I've said, you know, Dad, are you sure you don't want this money? He's like, no, I don't need it. I don't want a loan. Okay, lo and behold, a couple of months later, something happened. His trucks went down and he needed some additional funding. Okay, I was able to help him get his PPP funding. It came in a couple of days later, but my father represents a significant amount of people that are adamant about not wanting a loan. I want you guys to understand that we are in a recession, okay? There are many jobs, companies are closing. It's now the time to start your own business if you haven't, or if you are a small business owner, it's now the time to grow your business, okay? But understand that over the next 18 to 36 months, we're gonna go through some significant changes. Make sure that you are positioning yourself and your business to be able to not only survive, but to thrive in this time. That's all I have.
Okay. I am glad you kept going because I am experiencing great opposition here. However, okay, I missed something because everything in here just shut down, and then they said there was a error with Zoom. Of course, we're on the great Zoom right now, but going through another stream. But let's move forward to this. There are people who are afraid. Yes, they're afraid of getting loans, but there's also a S.B.A. grant available. There's also there's some other opportunities that are out there. And what I did some research today, and I found out that all of the money is not all loan money. And so some of this money is free money. Majesty, do you want to touch on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What I believe you're referring to is the idle grant or whatnot for businesses as well, where you can get up to $1,000 per employee. I'm honestly not sure if that program is still. I know the loan is still available. I'm not sure if the grant is still available because it was a time. Well, it was more of a quantity situation. When the money ran out, they said they were going to stop doing that, but they are. I do know that they're still doing the idle loan as well. But you know, there's a lot of programs available to receive capital to put to use right now from the government, from the idle to the PPP. So I would say at the end of the day that it would be best to bet on yourself. And, you know, and unfortunately, as an entrepreneur, that means that you take risk. And that's not something that we should be afraid of doing, especially with a viable business model. So you should work to look at all of the programs. They can even be matched or combined to receive multiple streams of funding. So, you know, there's not a lot of excuses to not be able to grow your business right now outside of, you know, the pandemic and the conditions changing or whatnot. But capital should not be an issue for anyone.
So okay. So we have the idle loans, we have the PPE, we have I before we came on, we were also talking about the EDIL. Can somebody touch? Yeah, is that the same thing?
Yeah, the EIDL is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
It is definitely still available through the SBA. That's directly through the SBA, and the PPP. You go to your bank and they kind of deal with the SBA on your behalf. But the EIDL, yes, you can go directly to the SBA's website and still apply for that. I believe that there may be some type of credit requirements there, depending on how large of an amount you get. But right now, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I think that the PPP is the best possible funding option for business owners, due to the fact that there is no credit check. That there's not too many ways to lose there, to be denied. And the banks are kind of pushing that program forward a little bit more than the EIDL, because the SBA is handling that. But at the end of the day, I still say, apply for everything that is available and put it to good use.
Excellent. And I could imagine that there are people watching us that have great vision, great, things that they've been trying to do. And then there's some people that have great need. And we're getting ready to go through, as Lady Finance said, we're getting ready to go through a season where there's going to be a real challenge to how we are living and the conveniences and everything that we share. And that's going to occur over the next 18 to 36 months. As you made clear, but I do want to bring Overseer into this dialogue. If Overseer, will you kind of give us some stats and some things that you found, why it's important for minority business owners to apply?
Yes, it's important for minority business owners to apply. Just like I was saying, according to the S.B.A. African Americans own 2.6 million small businesses. Now, they employ 975,000 people and generate more than 150 billion. So that by itself alone shows you the large impact as we talk about unemployment, as we talk about people in need of funds, in need of jobs. We have the leverage to push that to another level when we encourage small business owners to allocate those funds, because not only do you help your business, but you also help out the Black community, because it gives you the power to employ. A large number of Black-owned businesses, as Majesty was saying, they operate off of sole proprietorship. A lot of these businesses that we talk about that are Black-owned, the stats show that more than 95% of these businesses are mostly sole proprietorship or partnerships, which have no paid employees. Well, while some of those businesses, depending on the area that they operate in, it requires them to operate that way, but many of those businesses are forced to operate that way to turn a profit. So when they have those extra resources and funds that come in, it puts them in a position to where now they can employ people that at one time they could not employ before. And that opens up a whole other avenue. As you look at some of those different fields, that's where a lot of times we have fell short. We have fell short because a lot of those different areas where we would bring somebody in to help fine-tune our businesses, we have not had the funds to employ people to perfect those areas of business. Well, when you have situations like this now, you can hire a CPA to come in and help with your business, taking it to the next level. You can hire counselors and all of these different resources, Black resources, people who are looking for employment at this time to come in and help push your business by accessing these resources. And I'm sure Trellis and Majesty can touch on this, that those are liable means that you can use these funds for. Am I correct?
Pastor, it looks like we're having just a little bit of a challenge hearing you. But what I do want to say is everybody hearing me clearly? I want to know. Does everybody hear me clearly? Yeah. Okay. So we're having a little bit of challenge with the sound right now and the feed. However, I'm going to do two things for sure tonight. We're going to go through this information on this call. There are two things that if you're watching me right now and you're getting this on the feed, I want you to go follow Financial Phenom, and I want you to go join the group Financial Phenom. There's a group on Facebook. It's public, called Financial Phenom. What we're going to do is I'm going to make sure that I am responsible and getting these questions to these experts, and we're going to pre-record something and re-air it again, because I want this message to get to you clearly, even if we have to kind of come behind this and clean this up. But I want you to know that this information is critical. Now, there's an S.B.A. There's actually an S.B.A. executive watching us tonight. And he is in the office in Knoxville, and he is Black. And he's been there, and I'm not going to put him on blast, but he has shared the broadcast. And because I know for certain, I would go to his office and I would go to the S.B.A. and there would be many people there, but only a few of us there. And this is back before COVID. And so I want to ask this question. A lot of people are afraid of dealing with government and money, but this S.B.A. is established so that people can live the American, whatever you want to call it. Because I'm calling it a dream and some call it some other stuff. But what, in your estimation, can we know? I'm looking at this list here. If you receive funds from the S.B.A., what dangers are there? Let's cancel the fear tonight. Let's get rid of the fear. What dangers are there? What can we do to face them? Some people talk about fraud. Some people talk about the challenges that come with this money. Can somebody talk to me tonight about what we can do to just erase that fear? What challenges do we just need to just get over and go ahead and apply for the money? Lady Finance.
Okay, Dr. Hackley, that is a great topic to bring up because there are so many people that are experiencing fear when it comes to this. So how can we eliminate fear? By becoming knowledgeable. Okay, let's work with someone that is knowledgeable in this industry. If you don't understand, like Apostle Shedrick said, let's get a CPA. Let's get a experienced tax professional. Let's get a financial expert such as myself. Let's work with the people in the community that understand how this works. Make sure that you qualify, make sure that you follow the guidelines and eliminate all fear. When it comes to this, there's no need to be fearful. If you are a business owner and you're operating a business, you need to take advantage of everything that is out there for you so that you can grow and you can thrive in your business.
Okay.
Okay. Would you like for me to give
so
specific websites on how you can become knowledgeable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
First, you can start by visiting the SBA.com. This stuff is not a secret. There's no secrets about what's happening here, although we understand that the guidelines have changed several times during the process. But everything that you need to know is on SBA.com. Out
Yeah.
these
.gov, I think.
.gov. I'm sorry, SBA.gov.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
.gov.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to chime in on that question. I think that's a great question as well. As far as fraud goes, obviously anybody that partakes in that type of activity, they just had ulterior motives from the beginning. So, you know, you got to be very careful. It's difficult times for a lot of people right now. And there are people that are misusing the money. I mean, we've even seen like the LA Lakers and private schools and all types of people take the money that don't actually need it. And we've also seen people accept the money and then, you know, go practice more consumerism, which, you know, just is a path to nowhere. So that if you do that, you just have the wrong mindset in general. So it's important to keep the right mindset, and to have a plan. You need to have a plan as far as what you're going to do. I do know a lot of people have been having issues bringing their people back on board if they had to lay them off, because they are receiving the PUA and they're making more than they were making at the job. And also people that are having issues hiring or bringing on new people when they do have that issue, because once again, PUA is causing, I guess, you know, somewhat of a is making you have to negotiate a little harder with employees as far as what you're going to pay them. They're being paid anywhere up to, you know, $1,000 a week if you combine the state unemployment with the federal boost, but that's ending, you know. So it should that shouldn't be as much of an issue anymore. One good thing about the PPP situation is you can give it back. If for some reason that you get the money and things don't work out, you can return the money and there's no harm, no foul. So for whatever reason, if things don't work out as planned, you can give them the money right back. So that should, you know, kind of put a lot of fears aside, as well as not being able to do something. So I think it will be in somebody's best interest to at least, you know, explore the option, and then, you know, kind of take it from there, because you can give the money back. And I believe that they extended, you know, how long you can do that for as well. So, you know, and you definitely want to get with someone knowledgeable like Lady Finance and some other type of advisor to give you details on these types of things. But there's nothing to be afraid of. Right now is definitely a time to boss up, per se. You know, and kind of go for it. It's so fear is something that we shouldn't necessarily let stop us from doing what we need to do right now, because there's, like I said, there's a lot of opportunity, and if you're fearful, you're going to miss out on the opportunity. So, you know, that's my take on that topic.
I want to also bring up, when I was researching today, there's also some kind of loan forgiveness that's available on the site. Can you speak to that, Brother Majesty?
1 second. Yeah, there's a few different ways to benefit from the situation, but the forgiveness aspect, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lady Finance, but my understanding of it is that 60% of the funds that you receive from the PPP must be put towards payroll, and the remaining amount can be put towards rent, utilities, and some other business expenses. So that's for the PPP. If you follow those guidelines, they will literally rip up your loan paperwork and say, you know, we'll count this like you paid it back in full, and, you know, just kind of go about your day. There's also some other ways to benefit from the situation as well. If you do have more risk tolerance or whatnot, and most entrepreneurs do and should, they're actually allowing you to defer payments for 6 months on other SBA loans like the 7A loan and the 504 loan. And these are traditional business loans that existed before the pandemic, but now they've just made them sweeter. And I believe that this has been extended until September 27th. So you can combine these loans. So you can literally have an EIDL, a PPP, and a 504 loan. All of these can be structured in a way that benefits you in a way that never has before. So with the S.B.A, the 504 and 7A, you definitely want to go to their website to get a better understanding. It's a lot. It's very comprehensive, and more comprehensive than I could possibly explain on this webinar. But it is business funding that can be used to get equipment, to buy commercial space, a lot of different things. And this goes back to ownership. So a lot of these different benefits of the CARES Act aren't necessarily communicated to our community in a way that they can understand sometimes. But, you know, there's a lot of capital available right now. So, you know, there's just a lot. I don't know how else to say that, you know, the opportunity is abundant right now, and that we should be very vigilant in making sure that we exercise the rights and things that we have fought for so long. It makes no sense to fight for the rights and to these causes and die and go through these different things and not benefit from you know, the what's going on right now. And right now is our time if we look at this correctly. So, you know, you can literally get the loan forgiven very easily.
Our elder, Dr. Claude Anderson, is very clear with us, and he makes it clear that we can protest in the streets, and we can, you know, we can talk about policy, and we can, you know, talk about, you know, what we don't, what, you know, the killing of killing of black men, the murdering of black men by police, black women by police, black children by police. We can talk about all of those things, but until we have economic power, until we have economic progress, until we have some economic priority and some economic focus, all of the rest of our engagement will be for one purpose, but we'll be missing the depth, which is justice we can pass down. And the only justice that you can really pass down is economic justice. That's something that you can shift to your children once you've shifted your families. Now we have we've been in this probably about almost 40 minutes, and we're going to go probably another 5 or 10 minutes in this discussion. But again, we're going to go back, have a pre-recorded dialogue. We're going to restream that dialogue. There's two things that you're going to get in that next recording. You're going to get all these questions, and you're going to get a few more questions in webinar, a little bit more information. And then I want to kind of give a gift. Now, my name is not Brother Robert Frederick Smith, but I want to give a gift of information. I went to the S.B.A.'s page today, and I compiled all of the applications and all of the information into one document. And I want to make that available to everybody watching tonight. And I want to make that available to everybody that joined. I want you to do, I only need you to do two things. I need you to follow Financial Phenom, DM me and say, I want that fast track pack. I want that government money fast track pack. DM me, say that, get in that group, Financial Phenom group, and say, I want that fast track pack. These experts are going to come back, and they're going to have their own time, because each one of them in their own right have their own experience, and they could have an hour for themselves. They can have an hour for themselves. But I want to say this, if we don't take more time for this money, honey gonna be mad, and I've got to keep honey happy. Praise the Lord. and so I want to kind of get some closing remarks so that we can get to this next recording, so we can get everybody on board. So can we get some closing remarks? Can I start with my brother overseer, Apostle Sir? Can you give us some words that we might get to the people that's going to help them to get this money? Let's get this money, y'all. Overseer.
Yes, there's two things that I want to share. One thing is that biblically, I want to share with you that fear is not God. It's not. Fear paralyzes and keeps you stuck in one position. That's the whole intent of fear, is to hold you in the place where you are. And it's time for you to step out of fear, step out of that place that you're sick or tired of being in, and step out on faith. Step out into an unforeseen territory that you have never been in. And One of the other things that I want to share is no one is an island. Every great move in our communities, it was never done with one individual. So you don't have to have all the knowledge. You don't have to have all the wisdom. Lean on those in the community, like those that you see on this panel, that can assist you in getting to your goal. You don't have to do it by yourself. As I was stating earlier, 95% of Black-owned businesses are sole proprietorships, not because that they are structured to operate that way, but because one, we have a big issue when it comes to trusting to bring other people in, and two, because we are minimized on resources. And that does not have to be the case anymore. You have individuals who are skilled to make sure that you are in line to receive these funds. All you have to do is reach out to a CPA, a PE, or these different individuals that can assist you in ensuring that you get access to those funds.
I want if brother Majesty Gail, if you would come back and give us your closing words, and then I'm going to throw it to Lady Finance like a good like a Baptist preacher would close. You would close.
Okay. Just to touch on what Overseer Leroy just said, I think it's important right now to have faith in the Creator and to have faith in yourself. A lot of people are doubting themselves. A lot of people are afraid, and it's understandable. It's human nature. But we're powerful. We're powerful. You're powerful. There are opportunities available. There's very low hanging fruit right now, and it's the lowest that it's been, at least in my, I'm not, I'm not saying I'm a senior citizen, but in my lifetime, it's never been easier to get capital to fund your business. And definitely to touch on the employee aspect, we're talking about empowering communities. People have been able to hire within the community and help to, put food on tables all across the country by accepting this funding and putting it to good use. So I would just say, have faith in yourself and see the bigger picture here. Because if we all come together, we build something together, then we can do a lot more than we can separately. And to say that, we have that many sole proprietorships as opposed to companies that have, larger staffs or whatnot, says a lot. But, we can change that. And this is the opportunity to do so. And, panels like this help out with that type of information, and advisors like Lady Finance or whatnot. So just don't be afraid of whatnot. Now is the time to innovate. Now is the time to adapt. And now is the time for us to build a foundation that we've been, talking about for a very long time. So don't be afraid of this funding. Think about generations, down the line. At the end of the day, just have faith in yourself, have faith in the Creator, and stop watching so much TV and letting those, all of that negativity affect you. Just be proactive and not reactive. So that's all that I would have to say.
Excellent. I want to say that my brother makes a great point. Stop watching so much TV and watch SBA.gov every day. Watch SBA.gov every day. Just look at it every day and see what's changed, see what's new. If the same thing is there waiting for you yesterday, that was waiting for you the day before, that means you need to do something about that money. Lady Finance, will you close us? Will you bring, as the expert, Finance America, as the expert, what do we have to know in this moment before we get off this broadcast? What do we got to know?
Before we get off this broadcast, everyone needs to understand that God is moving on our behalf. God is moving and shaking some things up. If you're a business owner out there and you feel like you've been last, the last shall be first. The borrower will become the lender will become, the borrower will become the lender. Okay. It is time for you to take charge of your life, take charge of your business, and move in a direction that is going to push you forward. Take advantage of the opportunities out there. Take advantage. We have been deprived as a people when it comes to funding, as business owners. The doors are open. And so get with someone. Don't be afraid. Become fearless. And you move on behalf of your business and take your business to the next level so that you can build generational wealth, so that you can leave behind generations and generations. And this is a breakthrough that is here. You guys can just become fearless. That is that. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Now is the time to have faith and move and build businesses, build wealth through retail, through I'm sorry, guys, I'm so tongue twisted. Through real estate, but do not be afraid and do not stay stuck. It's time to move forward. And I will leave you guys with that. Good night, everyone.
I want to do something. I want to do something. This is my daughter, Eden. Say hi to everybody. Just wave your hands, everybody. She just got a shot. But Eden, can I ask you a question? Now you've been with me all your whole life long. And far as you can remember, what does Daddy say about money? Where is money?
In your mind.
In your mind. And what do? Make it a reality so you can do what? Put it in your pocket. She got a boo-boo, y'all. Y'all don't see she got a shot. But she knows that even with her shot, she knows that money is in my mind. And we make it a reality so we can put it in our pocket. So we can create our way. We can create our way out of any financial bondage or any financial challenge. We can be creative. We can seize. If we've got the mind power at this moment, the mind that God has given us, the suke, the psyche, the mind that God has given us, if we have that mind and we don't use it to read SBA.gov and we don't use it to research or pick up the phone and call Lady Finance or pick up and follow our brother Majesty Gale on Instagram and reach out to Overseer Shedrick. If we don't do that, it's not God's fault, because we've got the mind and the money is in our mind. You got 5-year-olds that are depending on us. One thing that John Lewis said, I played the clip yesterday. Our children will ask us, what did you do with the opportunity that was given to you during that time? What did you do? And so tonight we close. If you're a real financial phenom, you might not have it to prove in your bank account right now, and you might not have it in your hand. But if you at least have it in your mind, we're going to be able to do something. Follow Financial Phenom, follow Majesty Gale, follow Lady Finance, follow Overseer Shedrick. Make sure you stay tuned. We're coming back with a better broadcast, a stronger broadcast, and a real good set of information for you, because when somebody pushed me, boy, I think I'm about to pick up something. I'm from, another place. So y'all pray for me. I'm still, thank God. We've got to go tonight. We've got to go. We've got to go. Overseer did pray us in. I'm all right, but we've got to go. And so I want to say, even though we've had technical difficulties, this has been a wealth of conversation. Thank you everyone for coming on. And can everyone give us your Instagram? Can everyone, or your Facebook or whatever social media you want people to follow? Can you give it to us? Start with Brother Majesty. Brother Majesty, can you give that to us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram. It's Majesty_Elise, ELIZE. That's my wonderful wife. She's my partner as well. So that's where you'll find us. Majesty_Elise.
Majesty_Elise on Instagram, and everybody's on the gram now, so you got to get up with the times. Lady Finance,
you guys can follow me at Lady_Finance. Lady_finance.
Lady_finance. Pastor, apostle, overseer, where can we get the prophetic word? Can we get that foresight and that insight from the Lord? Where can we get that?
Yes, you can like and follow our church Facebook page. That's Greater Works Cathedral of Faith. Greater Works Cathedral of Faith. You can follow us on Facebook, and also you can follow me on Instagram at Overseer Shedrick. Overseer SHEDRICK. You can follow us at, again, Greater Works Cathedral of Faith on Facebook. You can just go and like the page, and you will constantly get notifications of everything that we have going on.
Greater Works Cathedral of Faith. Greater Works Cathedral of Faith. This financial work is a greater work. This financial work is a work of faith. This financial work is the cathay or the universe, the seat of the universe. That's what a cathedral is, where the universe sits, where the world sits. So Greater Works Cathedral of Faith, this financial work is the greater work that God wants to do right now. Follow Financial Phenom. This is Brother Phenomenal, Jeremiah Hackley. I'm leaving. I got to go because this thing get too hot for me. I feel like a praise break, but it's not that kind of service. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here today. All right. Y'all have a great afternoon. And we're going to if y'all would stay on me, I'm going to stop the live stream.